Have you ever wondered why some conversations make you feel good, while others don't? What if staying calm and understanding better isn't about what we say, but about what we choose not to say? Can following Buddhist ideas in our daily conversations help us live happier lives? Let's begin a journey into Buddhism today. We'll explore how what we say or don't say can lead us to peace and understanding. We'll talk about right speech, an important part of Buddhism that teaches us to speak in ways that promote peace, help us understand each other, and show kindness. In our busy world, where everything we say can be heard by everyone, it's really important to think about how we speak. The way we speak not only changes how we get along with others, but also how we think and feel inside. As we explore these ideas, we'll see why it's so important to choose our words carefully. This can really change our lives for the better. We'll talk about why it's better to avoid talking about certain things in our conversations, ideas that come from Buddhism. This isn't just about learning what not to say, but also about discovering how being silent at the right time and speaking with reflection can be really wise. We encourage you to watch the entire video to truly understand what we're saying. And if you like what you learn, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel, Wise Narratives, where we always talk about how ancient wisdom can help us today. Let's start our journey by exploring this story, where a great Buddhist monk gives 9 lessons to a young disciple. The sun's rays illuminated the monastery where the wise master Kenji resided. One day, a young man arrived who wanted to learn about Buddhism, and some of his conversations made him feel bad. As Kenji prepared a glass of water, he said, "Young Hiroshi, sit down because I'm going to tell you 9 lessons that will lead you to absolute calm and control your words and consequently your mind." Lesson 1. Avoid talking about your achievements. In this part of our journey to Buddhist wisdom, we'll talk about something really interesting: why it's a good idea not to talk too much about our own successes. You might wonder why this matters, since everywhere, especially on social media, people share what they've achieved. But Buddhism teaches us something different and quite special. Buddhism talks to us about the ego and how we are all connected. When we achieve something great, it's not just by ourselves. There are always other people who helped us, like friends, family, or even people we don't think much about. By only talking about what we did, we can forget all the help we received. Buddhism reminds us to think about everyone involved, not just ourselves. Imagine the times we chat with friends or family. We often hear people talk about the great things they've done. It feels good to talk about our victories, but Buddhism suggests looking at it in a different way. It teaches us to be humble. This doesn't mean we shouldn't feel happy about what we've achieved. It's more about remembering that there's a bigger picture. Here's a story from Buddhism. Once, there was a monk who did amazing things but never boasted about them. He thought that real achievements didn't need to be bragged about. His quiet way showed that he was really strong inside. He knew that feeling good about what he did was enough, and he didn't need everyone else to know about it. This story shows us something important. Feeling good about ourselves and our good work is what really matters. In our everyday life, we can try to do the same. When something good happens because of us, we can think about the others who helped us. Thanking them will strengthen our relationship and make us feel even better. It's about changing our way of thinking from "I did this" to "we did it together." Buddha said something beautiful about this. He talked about having a generous heart and speaking kindly. He said that being helpful and taking care of others is what makes the world a better place. It's really about being kind when we talk about our successes, being grateful for everyone and everything that helped us succeed. It's a great idea to take the time to think about how our successes are connected with others. This can make us feel more grateful and humble. So let's remember to talk about our successes in a way that includes everyone who was part of them. This makes our success stories more complete and joyful. Next, we'll explore another important lesson from Buddhism that can change how we speak and think. Second lesson: don't talk about unresolved challenges. Now let's explore another interesting lesson from Buddhism. Why it's a good idea not to talk too much about the problems we haven't solved yet. This may seem a bit strange at first, as we often feel the need to share our concerns and the issues we're dealing with, especially with friends or family. But there's a really useful reason behind this teaching from Buddhism. Buddhism shows us how life is always changing and teaches us to accept things as they are in the present moment. Talking repeatedly about challenges we haven't yet solved can make us feel more anxious and make us think too much about what could go wrong in the future. Instead, Buddhism tells us to focus on what we can do right now. This helps us stay calm and not stress too much about things we can't control. Think about the last time you faced a significant problem. Maybe you talked a lot about it with different people. Did it make you feel better, or sometimes did it make you worry even more? Buddhism suggests that instead of constantly talking about these problems, we should try to find peace with the situation we're in right now. It teaches us that even if things aren't perfect, we can still find moments of calm and happiness. This doesn't mean we should ignore our problems. Instead, it means we should focus on what we can do right now to improve things, step by step. This way, we stay present and work on solutions without getting lost in constant worry. It's a really positive way to approach challenges. Let's share a story that reflects this idea. Once there was a person who faced a great challenge at work. Instead of constantly talking about it, they focused on what they could do each day to improve the situation. This helped them feel more in control and less worried. It's a great example of how we can handle our problems in a useful way. Buddha taught us to find peace in the present moment. He said that when we accept how things are now, we can find true peace. It's about being okay with what's happening right now, even if it's not perfect. In our daily lives, let's try to accept our challenges and work on them step by step. This will help us stay focused and feel less stressed. It's about finding small things we can do right now to improve things rather than worrying about everything at once. Remember, as we continue with these Buddhist teachings, it's important to watch the video to the end. You'll learn a lot about how staying calm and focused can really improve your life. And if you find these tips helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you useful lessons like this. Next, we'll explore another valuable Buddhist teaching that can change how we view and do things in life. Third lesson, avoid talking about your good deeds. In our journey through Buddhist wisdom, we come to a very special idea, keeping our good deeds secret. It may sound a bit unusual nowadays, as we often see people sharing the good deeds they've done on social media or with friends. But Buddhism teaches us something different and very kind. When we do something kind like helping someone, it feels good to let others know. We may think it shows that we're good people, but there's something even more special about doing good deeds in silence. It's about helping just because we want to make things better, not because we want others to see us as good people. In this way, the good deed becomes even more meaningful. Buddhism truly values doing good deeds without seeking a reward. It's like giving a gift and not expecting thanks. By doing things this way, the good deed stops being about receiving praise and starts being about spreading kindness simply because it's a good thing to do. Think of a time when you did something kind for someone without telling anyone. Keeping that act of kindness secret gives you a unique kind of happiness. It's like having a special secret that only you and the universe know. This reminds us that the best part of helping is the act of helping itself, not the thanks that may come afterward. Buddha said something really nice about this. Do good things over and over and you'll be filled with joy. He meant that true joy comes from the act of giving, not from what we receive in return. We can try this in our daily lives, looking for opportunities to help others without making a big fuss about it. Maybe doing something kind for a neighbor or helping someone we don't know. The important thing is not to expect a reward from others. As we continue exploring these ideas, it's important to watch this video until the end. You'll learn a lot about how these teachings can make life better. Next, we'll examine another important Buddhist teaching that can change how we view and do things in life. Fourth lesson, avoid talking about resentment. In our journey through Buddhist teachings, we come to a very important idea. why it's better not to talk too much about our negative feelings towards others, known as resentment. It's something we all face at some point. People upset us, and we hold on to those feelings. But Buddhism offers a different way, one that brings more peace into our lives. When we keep talking about the things that upset us, it's like reliving those bad moments over and over again. This not only makes us feel bad, but it can also spread those unhappy feelings to others. Buddhism teaches us that holding on to these negative feelings doesn't help. It keeps us constantly looking back at unhappy times instead of enjoying what's happening now. Buddhism is about asking for forgiveness and moving on. It doesn't mean forgetting or saying that everything was okay, but not letting those negative feelings control us. When we let go of our resentments, we make space for happier thoughts and feelings. Imagine a time when you were really angry with someone. Maybe you talked a lot about it. Did talking help, or did it keep the anger alive? Buddhism suggests trying something different, letting go of those feelings. This is a big step towards feeling better inside. We can try this in our daily life when we're upset. Instead of focusing on the pain, we can try to understand what happened and find ways to move past it. It's a journey and it takes time, but little by little we can learn to leave those difficult feelings behind. Buddha had a wise way of expressing it. He said that being angry is like holding on to a hot coal to throw at someone else. It's us who gets burned. This tells us that staying angry hurts us more than anyone else. It's a strong reminder to let go for our own good. How do we start letting go? Start by trying to see things from the other person's perspective. And we also need to be kind to ourselves, allowing ourselves time to heal. It's about being kind to ourselves and others. Letting go of anger doesn't mean we let people walk all over us. It means we stop letting those past bad experiences control how we feel now. We reclaim our power by choosing to be peaceful and understanding, not angry and hurt. As we continue with these ideas, it's really important to watch this video until the end. You'll learn a lot about how letting go of anger can truly change your life. Fifth lesson: don't talk about your future plans in detail. In this part of our exploration of Buddhist wisdom, we encounter a really interesting idea. It's often a good choice not to talk too much about our big plans for the future. This may seem a bit strange in today's world, where we're used to sharing everything, but there's a good reason behind this way of thinking. Buddhism shows us that life is always changing and holds that the future can't be perfectly predicted. Sometimes making very detailed plans may not turn out as we hope. When we keep our future plans a bit more private, we allow ourselves to flow with life. This means we're ready to change and adapt when necessary. Talking a lot about all our plans can sometimes make us feel trapped. We may feel like we have to do what we said, even if later we feel it's not right. Plus, sharing too much can create worries for us, especially if we start doubting whether we can really do what we planned. Keeping our plans to ourselves allows us to be more flexible and change them without worrying about what others will think. Buddhism also tells us how important it is to live in the here and now. If we're always thinking about detailed plans for the future, we might miss out on good things happening in the present. It's about balancing planning for what's to come with enjoying what's happening today. Remember a time when you had a big plan for what was coming next. Did talking a lot about it make things easier, or did you feel more pressure? Buddhism suggests that sometimes there's a kind of calm in keeping our plans to ourselves and just letting things happen as they should. This doesn't mean we shouldn't have goals or think about the future. It just means we keep our plans ready to change. Buddha once said something truly wise. He said not to worry too much about the past or the future, but to focus on what's happening in this moment, the present. This tells us that while it's okay to think about what's to come, we really should pay attention to the present. That's where we make the decisions that shape what comes next in our daily lives. This means setting goals, but being okay with new opportunities and changes as we go along. Being flexible in this way is a big part of being happy and at peace. Next, we'll explore another great Buddhist teaching that can change how we view the world and ourselves. Sixth lesson: refrain from talking about your doubts and uncertainties. In our journey through Buddhist teachings, we encounter a truly important idea. Sometimes it's better to keep our worries and doubts to ourselves. In today's age, where people often share everything they're thinking, Buddhism offers a thoughtful approach to handling our uncertainties. Buddhism helps us understand that life is full of things we can't be sure about, and feeling unsure is normal. However, if we constantly talk about our doubts, they might start to seem bigger and more worrying than they really are. We might even make the people we tell feel uncertain too. By keeping our doubts to ourselves, we give ourselves the opportunity to reflect on them and find clarity on our own. Often, when we share our worries, we seek others to tell us everything will be okay, but the best understanding and confidence often come from ourselves. Buddhism teaches us to look inward and quietly contemplate our doubts. By doing this, we can truly understand our feelings and find our own answers. Remember a time when you weren't sure about something. Did sharing it with many people clarify it or sometimes make it more confusing? Buddhism suggests there's strength in silently reflecting on our concerns. This allows us to naturally find the answers we're seeking. This doesn't mean we should never seek advice. It's simply about trying to understand our feelings and thoughts for ourselves first. Sometimes we'll discover we already know the answers to our questions. Buddha believed everyone has their own inner wisdom. He thought we can understand our own lives and paths. This idea tells us we know more than we might think. In our daily life, we can apply this teaching by taking quiet time to reflect on what worries us instead of quickly sharing it with others. We can meditate a bit and listen to our own thoughts. This helps us know ourselves better and understand our own journey in life. Thinking about our uncertainties alone also helps us grow. It teaches us patience and to value deep thinking. We learn to trust in our own abilities to deal with the unknown in life. Seventh lesson: avoid gossip and unnecessary discussions about others. In our exploration of Buddhist teachings, we come across a truly important idea. It's better to steer clear of gossiping and talking too much about other people. In a world where gossip is common, Buddhism offers a peaceful and kind way to handle our conversations. Buddhism tells us that our words have a lot of power. Everything we say can make things better or worse. Talking too much about other people or gossiping often leads to hurt feelings and misunderstandings. It's not just about the person we're talking about, but also about filling our own minds with negative thoughts. When we talk about others behind their backs, we miss much of the story. We might end up sharing things that aren't true or fair. Buddhism encourages us to think before we speak. Is what we're about to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If it's not, it might be better not to say it at all. Gossip can also change how others perceive us. They might start to wonder if we talk about them when they're not around, which can harm our friendships and relationships. By avoiding gossip, we build trust and respect with the people in our lives. Buddhism also teaches us to be empathetic, to think about how we would feel if someone said the same about us. This helps us be more compassionate and understanding. Buddha spoke a lot about using kind and honest words, as this helps us and others find peace. By refraining from gossiping, we follow this idea, choosing words that bring people closer instead of pushing them away. In our daily lives, we can practice this by focusing on positive and happy conversations when we're with friends or family. We can talk about things we like, share good news, or discuss things that excite us. This makes everyone feel more positive. Sometimes we might feel like gossiping because we're bored or we want to fit in, but Buddhism shows us a better way to connect. We can talk to people about their hobbies, share ours, or do fun activities together. This builds real friendships based on what we have in common. By avoiding gossip, we also give ourselves more time to focus on important things. We can learn new things, help others, or work on our own dreams. This makes our lives more interesting and happier. As we move forward with these Buddhist lessons, remember how much you can learn by watching this video until the end. You'll understand much better how stepping away from gossip can change your life and your relationships for the better. If you find these tips helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to our channel, Wise Narratives. Your support allows us to share more great lessons with you. Coming up next, we'll explore another great Buddhist teaching that can truly help us in how we live and enjoy our lives. Lesson 8. Value your moments of solitude. In this part of our journey through Buddhist teachings, we encounter a comforting lesson: the importance of spending time alone, what we call solitude. Nowadays, with our phones and busy lives, it might seem difficult or not so important to find time alone. But Buddhism shows us that being alone can be truly valuable. Being alone isn't about feeling lonely. It's an opportunity to think, understand ourselves, and grow. Buddhism tells us that it's crucial to know ourselves well. And when we're alone, we can do just that. Without the presence of others, we can truly listen to our own thoughts and feelings. These quiet moments are when we can deeply connect with ourselves, reflect on our life, the choices we've made, and what we truly desire. It's a break from the expectations and opinions of others. It's an opportunity to discover what we really want and dream of. Furthermore, being alone allows us to recharge. We're often surrounded by many people and busy doing things, which can be exhausting. When we're alone, we can relax and just be, like a quiet pause where we don't have to do anything for anyone else. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of mindfulness and living in the present moment. When we're alone, it's easier to practice this. We can notice our thoughts and feelings without worrying about them, learn to enjoy our own company, and find joy in simple things. Being alone can also make us more creative. When we're not saturated with other people's ideas, our own creativity can shine. We can think of new ideas, find different solutions to problems, or discover more about our creative side. Buddha taught about finding peace within ourselves. Time alone contributes to this. In silence, we can meditate, think, and find a calmness that stays with us, even when we return to our busy lives. In everyday life, we can find small moments for ourselves. It might be quiet minutes in the morning, a brief solitary walk, or simply sitting in silence without distractions. These moments can be powerful and refreshing. Lesson 9. Don't speak about lessons you haven't fully learned. In this part of our exploration of Buddhist wisdom, we encounter an interesting and important idea. It's better not to talk too much about things we are still learning. In today's world, where everyone likes to quickly share their thoughts and experiences, Buddhism proposes a reflective approach, urging us to wait until we truly understand something before starting to talk about it. Buddhism tells us that truly understanding something takes time. When we talk about things we're still trying to comprehend, we might share information that isn't entirely correct. It's a bit like trying to teach someone to play a game that we don't fully know how to play ourselves. This way of learning and sharing is about being honest, about saying, "I'm still learning this, and that's okay." When we wait until we truly understand something before sharing it, we ensure that what we say is helpful and correct. Remember a moment when you were learning something new. At first, it might have been confusing, and if you tried to explain it to someone else too soon, you might have later discovered that there was still much to learn. Buddhism teaches us to be patient as we learn and suggests that we really should understand something before talking much about it in our daily lives. This means it's good to keep learning and growing. Saying, "I'm still learning this," is something great. This honesty builds trust with others. They know that when we share something, it's because we really understand it. Buddhism also shows us that true understanding often comes from our own experiences, not just from what we read or hear. When we have truly experienced something, we understand it in a deeper way. And when we share it, it's not just facts, but part of our own story. Being careful about what we share also prevents us from pretending to know more than we really do. This keeps us authentic and focused on what we are learning, avoiding giving advice that might not be the best. Another part of this teaching is enjoying the process of learning. When we don't rush to share, we give ourselves time to immerse ourselves in a topic, explore it, and have fun with it. This makes learning more interesting and meaningful. Thank you for being part of this journey, for your support, and for choosing to make each day a step towards a richer and more meaningful life.